So, as I've said, the first is the facilitation of business compliance to applicable regulations. The second is the value-added services for competitiveness and growth. The information exchange with external systems is the third one, and the communication between the different national authorities, including all the coping with the different standards used by different authorities, different countries, and especially in terms of dangerous goods cargo and cargo that needs specific attention, are the main pillars in developing this maritime single window. Now, we can see here a schematic of this one. The national single window lies in the middle. The trade and transport community uses it, and it gets fed by information coming from different competent authorities, like the coordinated border management authorities, customs trade facilitation for import, export, and transit-related regulatory requirements, supply chain security, ship formalities and port community systems, emergency coordination, so on and so forth. Then these national single windows gets fed by additional EU or other international platforms, for example, with respect to the safe framework, or with the CITPAT agreement in the US, and so on and so forth. And on a national basis, it feeds information, diffuses information to other national authorities in the country. For example, mode-specific authorities, border control authorities, customs, health, food, veterinary authorities, safety, security, environmental protection, you name it. The single window is supposed, and this is what the system does, sends information to all of the relevant and the appropriate authorities, agents throughout the transportation chain. Now, the modules of the EMAR MSW that we developed, first of all, in the context of the project, a set of tools and a set of methodologies, of roadmaps and of methodologies were developed in order to facilitate rapid prototyping, rapid development, and rapid deployment of single windows. This is sort of IT-related information, but the idea behind this is to try to transform the paper-based forms, information, and workflows into e-based workflows and information. The framework that was developed has a purpose, a sole purpose, of upgrading the systems in producing intelligent maritime single windows that, first of all, these systems should be or will be interoperable in a sense, and of course the information that is there is reliable and the system itself is dependable. The single window platform, this is a solution for a national single windows that allows member states to design and manage the maritime single windows complying with the Directive 65, but at the same time allowing for sufficient autonomy for the different authority systems to be in place, to operate, and to feed information back and forth to the national single window, the maritime single window, that EMAR has developed. Now, some of the modules, for example, it's the information exchange between reporting parties and national single windows, which receives MSW-related messages, converts them to MRF messages, maritime reporting formalities, that is, messages, stores these messages into the database and distributes it to the specified, pre-specified, that is, databases. And of course, it sends the response messages to the reporting parties that the information that they've sent is accepted and is transmitted, is fused to all the relevant authorities. We also have the information exchange between the NSW and the SafeSeaNet, which reports all the necessary information to the relevant SafeSeaNet related authorities, port, customs, port authorities, coast guards, similar to these agencies, stuff like that. The information exchange between the NSW and the authorities systems, the system configuration, that is, where the administrator can configure the access components for the authority systems, who sees what, that is, in plain English, and of course a routing engine which disseminates information to a role-based procedural approach. We also have the user management module, which is actually a central administration that can configure access rights for the users and configure the specifics of access management to the national single window, what permission each user has, what sort of information each user can see, and so on and so forth. We have the dashboard. We'll see some of these later on this presentation, which is a web interface, a GUI, for displaying the information regarding formalities, notifications to the different roles and to the different authorities. And of course, there are also personalization assistants where each user can actually select what sort of information can or will appear in front of him, and how this information is translated into to do actions or to do activities and stuff like that. And of course, the most important SIP-based module that we developed was the Intelligent SIP Reporting Gateways, the iSIP, which is an innovative application that enables the shipping industry stakeholders fulfill all the reporting obligations to the European Maritime and Customs authorities in accordance with all the different Commission directives and, in a sense, effectively complying with all the information that is needed from them. Now, as you can see, the EMAR ecosystem, we have in this slide I'm showing two different levels. The first one is the business ecosystem, so it's the business rules that each and every different stakeholder has implemented. We have below that, it's the digital ecosystems, the digital ecosystem, sorry, which includes all the applications, the common infrastructure, the services, the common reporting schema, and similar applications that enable the different systems to communicate to one another and to share information, to share data. And in this respect, we have the different systems using different data forms and different rules, but all of them communicating one another and communicating primarily, and that was the raison d'être, with agencies and authorities, and complying with different processes that are needed. Now, how this is transmitted? We have the common reporting schema, as we've said before. Just to remind us all, common reporting schema is a set of data requirements with respect to people that are on board the ship, the cargo that is again on board the ship itself, and the voyage. So the ship master or the ship agent or whoever of these two are using an EMAR access point, as we call it. This translates the information that is stored into their own ERP systems, or if they don't have an ERP system, this EMAR access point becomes an interface where they write in the information. This is translated through the CRS into the relevant data structures, and through the maritime single, it's submitted of course to the maritime single window, and then this maritime single window, through the web services or through other interfaces that are in place, disseminate this information, for example, waste-related information, file forms, entry declarations, the ENS, people information. They disseminate this information to other agencies and national authorities. And this, again, is disseminated further on to other authorities, second-tier authorities that need this information. For example, not only agency-related or government-related, but also the authorized economic operator that needs, sort of speaking, information about a specific container that is to be imported, needs this information in order to go to the port and collect this container. Now, access points, what's the main issue behind these access points? Because there are a lot of different systems out there, and these systems don't communicate to one another because they don't have the same structures or the same data informational needs, and so on and so forth. We developed a click technology called access points, which translates the different formats or the different types of information. They translate it to the required or to the commonly used structures. Now, in this case, we have two different maritime single windows that collect all the information and send it, for example, from the port or maritime or security and so on and so forth. They send it to the national single window, and then the national single windows, through the national safe CNET networks, communicate this information to the relevant national single windows of other member states. So in this case, that's the high-level idea behind sharing and how this information is shared between the different actors or among the different authorities. Now, some key features of the maritime single window. The maritime single window provides a single interface, or should provide a single interface between the different establishments, especially in terms of trade and transport. Maritime single windows are essentially extended DigGov applications that offer a common reporting gateway to businesses, and this is the main reason these systems exist, so that everyone can submit the information that is needed, that is required by the government agencies once and comply themselves. There are two main channels for the submission of reporting information for the declarations that may be utilized. The first is the port community systems and similar systems that facilitate both commercial and regulatory information exchange. For example, the interface between PCS, port community systems, and national single windows that should be harmonized and should be a single interface between those two. And the business reporting gateways, that is commercial applications used by carriers, agents, or aggregators to fulfill formalities. The maritime single window should provide, or provides already in some cases, interfacing to external systems such as SSN. For example, nowadays we only have the SSN communicating to the maritime single windows. The idea is to include as much information, even one layer down, like the LRAT or AIS systems, to be connected one another. But then again, this affects more the scalability of the system itself, and it's not within the scope of this presentation. Just have it in the back of your heads. The maritime single windows should include core services like data, rules, integration, and stuff like that, and should also facilitate provision of value-added services. For example, especially in the case of port community systems, the main idea is to offer these value-added services. For example, offering a time window for container collection or for container delivery, or a single entry point to submit information to the port or to get information for the port, for example, arrival of a specific ship or whatever. Now, the maritime single windows should also offer intelligent services, not simple communication sharing services, but we have to improve them and we have to make them smart technologies that provide decision support or facilitate decision making for the actors, and be extendable, as I said before, be extendable to include other systems like AIS, LRIT. These are automatic identification systems actually for the ship movements. Now, let's see, and that's one of the most interesting parts of this presentation. This is what a maritime single window really looks like. This was a prototype. That's the ISIP module of the EMAR system. And actually, in this screen here, we can see the different data or the different information that is required by the different structures that are out there. For example, in this case here, we have the voyage number, we have the port of call, the IMO number of the ship, the MMSI number, the ship name, and so on and so forth. So many different information that is efficiently and effectively appearing on the dashboard of the operator. For example, here we can see that the ETA of the ship is 12 o'clock on November 5th of 2014. Now we can see we can start making arrangements of the container collections or of the cargo collection in general. And then we also have the ETD. Again, these are mock numbers over here, so don't confuse yourselves with these numbers. We also have the ETD, the estimated time of departure, so we can really make arrangements on what is the available time that we have in order to load or unload or do the operations on the ship. Then, on the clearance status column, there are different items that have to be submitted. For example, some of the FAL forms over here are not submitted. That's why it's this anchor, the orange anchor. Or in the second case, all of the or most of the clearance of the compliance requirements are not cleared yet. That's why they are red. So you can see that you have so many different information appearing in one single place. And now actually the operator can really see what's happening in there and what is the best approach or the next activity that should be born in the ship. Similarly, now we have different modules that is developed. One of the strong points of EMAR is that the system is scalable. For example, over here you can see the dataset management. Of course, it's pre-populated with datasets, data structures that are relevant to the different directives that are out there and to the different ISO standards. But if a company has its own standards or its own information needs, then they can just put those information there. They can build their own structures, their own schemas on top of the as I said, populated schemas, and they can still continue working with their own systems. EMR is efficiently exchanging such information and translating, let me use this term, this information and communicating this information to other systems. For example, here, these are the FAL forms actually. For the ship, the voyage and port calling, stores, security, crew, passenger. You can start filling in this information, and when you save it, it pops up another message asking you whether the system on its own should submit this information, fuse this information to all the relevant authorities that are either pre-selected or you want to select more. And then strong points like the intelligence that I was telling you about earlier, a little bit earlier. If you can see here the gray button saying recreating message, sort of an intelligence, not that nuclear physics, but the system on its own can get information from previous messages and can fill it automatically based on some principles that the system has, and can fill it automatically so that you don't have to fill again and again the same information to the different fields. Now, some key drivers for a successful implementation of a maritime single window. So, first of all, you have to have a highly flexible and user-friendly tool. You have to develop something like that for linking shipping-related information and linking them with port formalities for using both on board and offshore. So, this is the sort of tool that is expected by the different stakeholders. Another thing is that you have to streamline and you have to re-engineer the reporting workflows, and you have to facilitate the exchange of ship and cargo information among the actors involved in reporting, in respecting the access rights, and so on and so forth. A significant reduction of the reporting burden is also required here, both in terms of duration and in terms of resource consumption. So this whole reduction of the reporting burden will allow the shipping or maritime companies to focus more on efficiency and safety of operations rather than just filling in and out forms. I mean, the previous situation was similar to the ship master focusing exclusively on preparing the documentation rather than taking the vessel itself. Reduction of the overall cost of reporting by eliminating non-adding value intermediaries. Reduction of high-tech complexity and enabling integration, sharing of information with other company or in-house systems in general, providing reference data for fulfilling reporting requirements and so on and so forth for vessel tracking. And last but not least, compliance with international standards. For example, in our case, we have been using the ISO 28000 family of standards, the WCO and the EDIFACT, which gives a very good structure, as well as the E-Freight structures, which use a very good structure of the data requirements and of the data itself. And of course, this has to be complemented with EU-specific formats and requirements, like the Directive 65 of 2010. Now, conclusions and some lessons learned. First of all, the maritime and logistics procedures have to be simplified through the new system. The shipping services have to be upgraded from a business perspective, and delay reduction is the most important element to this respect. So, the shipping services are some of is the center focus of this process. The new system has to decrease face-to-face interactions, not only for cost reasons, but also for improved transparency. So once you have the system there, you cannot really allow any more physical presence. Everything is going to be executed through the maritime single window. Upgraded security to transaction has to be offered both on regulatory and also on commercial grounds. The data exchanging has to accommodate all the existing systems. The paper-based transactions have to be eliminated at all. The new system will have to be universally a single point of data input, avoiding any duplication whatsoever. And the system will have to be as robust as possible in order to reduce risks from attacks, from data leakage, and from viruses. Actually, this is one of the most important items that the different businesses have brought up. Is my information, the information that I will be sharing with such systems, is it secure enough? I don't want this information to be shared or to be leaked to my competitors. That was the main concern of these companies. And last but not least, the systems will have to be scalable so that the next generations will be able to include further upgrades and include new services for the users. Now, just before we finish, there are a couple of videos that describe AMR. I would like to share them with you. So that's all. Are there any questions? Do you have any questions, any issues, anything that you didn't understand? Okay, thank you very much. If you have any questions or any issues or anything else, feel free to ask them, send us an email, and we will reply to you as soon as possible. I would like to thank you for participating in this module. We will continue our discussion in the next few days with regards to LNG and LNG related operations. So thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to you guys. If you need anything, just feel free to send us an email. Thank you very much.